couldn't see anything here, huh? Great. So I will just go ahead and start my presentation with a video because everybody's tired, so let's just watch a video first. So this video was taken by one of my friends who actually lives in Mathare, Kenya, and back in May, most of you probably still remember those heavy rains, the storms, the canceled flights. To us, that probably means like we have to cancel our trip plan because the plane never came. Even though they came, they never fly. But in Kenya, in Nairobi, in this Mathare slum, that actually caused floods, people's home, and even people's life. So last summer, I got the chance to work over there, but that's not why I put this video over here. If you listen really carefully, you would hear that instead of crying and swearing, people are actually laughing. And that's a spirit that inspired me so much. And today, I'd like to share some of those stories with you. Let's start with the river that caused the floods, shall we? And I just chose the wrong button. So those are the pictures of the river that is not so floody, and you would definitely notice the differences. Less yellow and more trash, and that is the day-to-day life they're living, like right next by the rivers. Having this kind of living condition makes me even more wondering what is going on. How come those people are just so happy of what they still have and so hopeful about what's going to happen in the future? You know me, I'm an educator, and I always go to different places and to observe the schools, to talk with the students and teachers over there. So that will also be the angle. Let's start with this question. What is Mathare slum? If you Google that, you will have lots of answers. Like, that is the oldest and the second biggest slum in Nairobi. Like, there were almost 1 million people squeezed into a 1.5 kilometer of the area. And maybe you would also notice, like, according to a lot of websites and a lot of agencies, you are strongly not advised to go anywhere near it just because of the violence and health concerns. But today, I'd like to introduce Mathare slum with a different angle: education. So, will you believe it if I tell you that is the classroom to be? The chairs and the desks will be moved in, and the students will be having lessons in this very room. And I'm telling you, those iron roofs makes the whole classroom so hot and so dark in the daytime. And this is actually one of the churches in Mathare slum, and that's one of the best rooms in that area, and that is why it was provided to us to be one of our classrooms. And this is actually a picture of a school donated by DVSA, Dream Building Association. As you can see, this place is so much cleaner and brighter than the rest of the pictures we see, right? And you probably also notice there is a little board in the room. I'm telling you, 2 grades, they will have to share this small space. What does that mean? That means you will have 2 groups of students and 2 teachers having totally different contents going on at the same time. And the truth is, the teachers over there, they already developed a pretty unique skill. They could actually teach without interrupt each other. And that's a very important skill to teach in that circumstances. And now, let me ask you a question. What can you get using 132 kwai RMB? Probably a pretty small durian, or a 2 dishes meal, or I don't know, half of the game card. But in Kenya, that money equals to 2,400 Kenya shilling. And that is how much a teacher could get as a monthly salary. However, when you look at the teachers over there, you wouldn't see, oh, they're crying over their lives. You could see smiles, you could see dedications, you could see lots of devotions. And if you observe the classroom, you would also notice that they are using whatever they can to decorate the learning environment, just like any of the teachers. Like, we're all devoting what we have and try to support our students the best we can. And they are doing the same thing, even though they're only having 132 kwai every month. Now let's talk about students. If you totally ignore the settings and the background, you probably think you are looking at some supermodels who are doing some fashion show for the world-class brands like Chenyang or LV or whatever. But the truth is, those students are actually living in Mathari slum. And the clothes they are wearing right now, they got it from the grandmas, from mothers, from trash piles sometimes. They find them, they clean them up, they try to design it, and they put it on. And then they walk proudly. They're just showing us. They're just so proud of what they are capable of doing. And they're just so proud of who they are, just like any of us. They also inspired me to host one of the art workshops. So, when you imagine those talents with tie-dye, what will come out? I brought some pictures today. Are you ready? I have to say that due to the lack of resources, the students are shy over there. They just don't want to tell us more about their lives or their stories. However, by arts, by tie-dye, by all kinds of arts programs we get over there, we are creating a channel to do the communication for us. We're giving the students, providing the students a chance to express themselves using arts. When you look at those students, when you look at the different gestures they're showing with their body, and actually this one is one of my favorites. Maybe you guys didn't notice it at the very beginning. This guy right over here. What he's doing is actually opened his arms and tried to say hi to the whole world. Just love it. And that's part of what we did over there. As the leader of the volunteers, I worked with some other volunteers, and for the arts program, we got 6 volunteers together. And in the 2 weeks, we managed to have lessons in 17 schools, and we collected over 1,000 artworks. And that's only part of the life we spent over there. And then we selected 38 students from that over 1,000 students. We invited them to join our 3 days of workshops. And after that, we invited 13 more students from the first workshop to join the second one, which is the mirror. And here are some photos we did together. And that's the mural we finished together. And if you go there right now, you can still see my name over there. That's pretty cool. So that whole journey is filled with touching stories and moments. I find it so inspiring, and it also empowered me from the whole journey and after. I like to share some of them, those stories with you, and I hope you could also find inspirations in them, just like I did. And today, the whole topic of my speech will be do more, be more, and be different. That is actually a sentence I pulled out from one of the football tournaments goalkeeper's jersey, the green girl right over there. You see that? And you can also see her teammates. They're wearing a shirt saying, "She can be more." Exactly. They're just like any of us. They can be more, they can do more, they can also be different. This first story happened in a special school. Yes, I call that school special, even though in this special area. So that is a school with 80% of the students' family members are actually HIV positive or drug users. And before we entered that place, I actually talked with one of the volunteers saying, "I'm not going to force you to come with me, but please be aware that we take full responsibilities of teaching over there." Luckily, that 20 years old Beverly said, "Yes, I will do it." We have such a great time over there. The students are just so engaging, and they're so proud of what they created. I'm so glad we've managed to pull it through. That's Beverly. I just mentioned her, right? She is actually one of the local volunteers we recruit even before landing. The idea of getting the local volunteer is actually we're trying to figure out what can we do to influence more. You know, we're over there, we spend a month over there, and then we have to come back. But the local volunteers, they got to stay. They got to stay there, be more, do more, and be part of the solution. And those volunteers, they joined us and basically stayed with us for the whole journey. They joined us and observed our group lessons, and they supported our small little groups, and they even sometimes try to teach the students. After we left, they kept the art lessons going. They even tried to do something more. Like in the floods earlier in May, they raised money to donate drinking water, food, and other necessities to Mathare slums. I'm so glad that we could be part of their journey to be more and do more. The next story is also about arts program. When we talk about arts, we probably think about Van Gogh, we probably think about expensive canvases, we probably think of years of devotions. Those are the things we don't have in a 1 month program. However, to provide high quality classes and cover as many students as possible, we decided to combine the group lessons and arts workshop. Also, we decided to design the certificate of participation. That is a token of the time we spent together. There's also a symbol to tell the students, to remind the students of how capable they are. And the students just love it. At the very end of the month, we managed to just get all 3 different programs together. We have talent show, and I actually got a chance to work as a host on that talent show, and that is exactly what we were the other day. And then we got football tournament, also arts exhibitions. There is another program called Lunch for Children, and the name pretty speaks for them, like what they do. But instead of that, they actually did more. So let me ask you guys a question. How many textbooks do you have this year? Roughly 10, 20? If you're having some other lessons, maybe 30. And this is the textbook situation in different schools in Missouri. And you can see they're so often, when you look at these textbook situations, you'll see 1 per grade level, you'll see 2 per grade level, you'll see 3 each grade, and you see only 1 for the teacher. The thing is, Kenya decided to change the curriculum 2 years ago, but the textbooks are just so expensive, and they just don't have this money to just put it onto this textbook situation. But every day when they're having lessons, the teachers will have to copy it down on the blackboard so the students could actually learn. And in one of the schools, right here, Baruka, it's saying need to borrow from other schools in some subjects, which means for the whole school, they don't even have 1 textbook. We decided to be part of the solution. In 3 weeks, we raised almost 50,000 RMB, which equals to almost 10,000 Kenya shillings, which equals to 3,325 textbooks, which covered 3,540 students in 20 schools. We cannot give everybody a textbook. However, at least now they could share within a group of 4 or 6. And they're just so happy to have them. Right now, the art exhibitions are being held in Kenya. And also, the ones in Paris and Spain are still getting prepared simultaneously to communicate and through the space and totally ignore the time. That is the longer term significance of arts program. And as we talk right now, there are still thousands, maybe hundreds of people who are still working so hard for people in need in Africa. And the antelopes in Masai Mara are probably still grazing and the lions are sleeping. And I believe my students are still growing wildly but freely in that right land. Everything is just so full of life and energy. And you know what? I will also go back this summer. I cannot wait to see them again. Again, eventually, seems like I should give you something to think about. How about this? Be more, do more, be different. Thank you.